Hey everyone, welcome to the first edition of CommuniTea, a chat between myself, Curt Hammond, and the wise, the beautiful, and just also smart, Lakhdeep Singh Dhaliwal. We're going to get together once in a while and just have some conversations around two things that we love at Four Simple Words: deconstructing power, building communities of service. Today, we're specifically talking about an article that we tripped over about an Austrian heiress who received an inheritance worth about $35 million, and the Austrian government refused to tax her. And so, in a bit of a sticking her finger up to the man, she's giving away this money in a really unique and creative way that, quite frankly, is deconstructing power and we think building communities of service. We'll put a link to the article itself so you can give it a read. This is a quick reflection from my friend Lakhdeep and I about the story. Thanks for joining us. See ya. What are you drinking today?
Nice cup of cha. Cha to us Indian folks is tea.
Beautiful.
So often pronounced chai in North America. I've seen Starbucks, they bust out the chai, C-H-A-I.
Yeah.
But to Punjabi folks, it's cha, C-H-A.
Beautiful. I love that. I love it. Today, typical white guy tea. I went to David's Tea. Actually, a friend introduced me to David's Tea. I really haven't. Anyway, and I'm drinking their nut tea, which my daughter does not like, but I'm really loving. So,
wow.
Cheers to David's Tea.
Maybe later we'll talk about communities of service. David's Tea, the whole story of how David's Tea comes about, rooted in community service.
Beautiful. Love that. Teach. All right. Today we're chatting about this Austrian heiress who's giving away over $35 million because the government won't tax her inheritance. I love the kind of, she's sticking it to the system here. Not sure I would give away 36.6 million. So Lakhdeep, how are we deconstructing power through this exercise?
We talk a lot about in DEI work, give it up. This idea of give it up is to use one's power, privilege, positionality for the sake of others.
Right.
Can you give it up? Can you give it up so that someone can gain something that they never gained before? Be it at a system level, a community level, a friendship level, right? Give it up. Look back to all the friendships that you and I have cultivated over our life. It's because we gave something up, our time, our attention, our respect. Something we gave up, didn't we? And that friendship developed, that relationship developed. So often we talk about give it up.
So she's given up $35 million.
Give it up in the most decolonial of ways. There's pushback, right, to the heirs. Why don't you set up a nonprofit?
Yes.
Why don't you set up like a community group that can decide where the money goes? And the response is so beautiful. The response is very clear. The response is no, because that's not what the people need. I think when we give up something, we are focused on what others need. This idea of, I don't need this, but someone else needs it.
That's service. That's being in service. That's being really clear what you're being in service to, in this case, the needs of others.
Our heads bow at Four Simple Words. Our hearts surrender to this truth. Always. To give up something and then to gain something is the pathway of service, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think as you've helped us deconstruct the power here, the other thing we want to do at Four Simple Words is build communities of service. She's literally building community here. Here's 50 people, strangers that she has no direct relationship with at all, coming together to make some decisions. And I think, and we've chatted about this as, 1.5 good facilitators that we are, managing that process of bringing 50 people together from across the country, physically putting them in a room, and then getting clarity about what they want to be in service to. I think that's going to be both an awesome challenge and gift. And I think the facilitation of that conversation for that clarity around what we want to do collectively is going to be incredibly powerful. I would love to be in the room for that.
No doubt. Talk about a power move, a deconstructing of power move. Yeah. The heiress doesn't even know the 50. does not know their names, does not know who is going to be there. Talk about, we always talk about 4 simple words. The word listen. Listen. I think what the heiress is doing is actively coaching others of what it means to be listening. Take the word listen, rejumble the words, you get the word silent.
Right, right.
I feel that the heiress in this move is empowering others through silence,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even know who they serve, if you will.
Right.
That's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And I think the creating that space for these 50 who will have agendas and experiences and all the good stuff that they're all the strengths that they bring to this conversation, creating that silence for them to be listening to one another, that's going to be an amazing experience. Like I'm kind of geeking out of the facilitation into this. I love the idea. I think that forming, storming, norming, performing piece for this group of 50, and I'm not sure how long that's going to take, but that'll be an incredible learning experience for everybody. Anyway, brother, you are wise, and you teach and you teach and you teach. Thanks.
You as well. Right back at you. You're the one who sent me this article. You're the one who's pushing us towards deconstructing the power and connecting it to communities of service around us. Although we're talking about Austria and an heiress, let's bring this home for a moment. We wouldn't have the social safety net in this country that we have and enjoy if we didn't have this leading this idea of others need something. I have something that I can give up. What's the something that we give up in this country? Call it tax, call it something. We give up something so that others can benefit, don't we? That's the social safety net.
And let me close with that what I'm giving up, I'm actually getting something too, right? And there's the magic, and we've chatted about this before too. But that giving up isn't necessarily, oh, here's my arm. In fact, oh, you know what? There's lots coming back for that. And we talk about taxes for a while. However, when I'm in service to others, there's something that comes back to me intrinsically, and I want to celebrate that. This idea that it's not true service because I'm getting something out of it. I'm done with that. No, I'm in service to you, and you know what? I either felt stronger, felt better, whatever it is. That's a good news story.
So as always, we want to thank folks for joining us on this week's Cup of Tea. We always have something left over in our cups, don't we? Some residual.
Right.
For me, after this conversation with you, Curt, I only have one thing left over in my cup. Let me have a quick double peek. Yes, it's still there. And it's the truth of Kanye West. He says it best. He says it, having money is not everything. Not having it is.
Right.
Let me say that again, because I love hearing myself say that.
So good.
Having money is not everything. Not having it is. I think that's such a call to action for all of us. What are we doing with what's left over in our cup? How are we giving to those who need it more than us? Curt, what's left over in your cup?
I love it. You're so smart, because I'm gonna come back to the money piece as well, and it's this idea that we can reimagine our relationship with it. I just received this big inheritance, and it's going to go in my bank account, or I could give it to 50 people and see what they do with it. Like that's a brave, quite frankly, it's a brave thing for this woman to do, and low risk in the sense that I'm sure she's fine. And we can have that conversation. And I want to celebrate that she's really reimagining what her relationship with money is. And the relentless acquisition of it is so freaking boring. It's just like, come on, we got to we can do better. And I think she's a great example of that. Lakhdeep, that's fun. Thanks, man.